Hello viewers, welcome to our new tutorial video. In this video we are going to focus much on transformation of graphs. We have a number of graphs that we're going to look at, and the same graphs that are all shown below using that general graphs. For a function to be transformed, it needs to have the following. One, it must have a reflection over the y-axis. Of course, we know that y-axis, it has to be the one which is here. So when the graph reflects over that axis, automatically what is on the right hand side, it has to be the same thing as to what would be on the left hand side. On this part, this, no matter what, this function can't be reflected. Why? Because if you try to reflect this graph, you find that what is on the right hand side is exactly the same as what is on the left hand side. The second type of a graph, which is here, it can be reflected due to one reason. This part here can get reflected over the y-axis, and if it happens to get reflected, it will face in that given direction. So look much into as to why a graph gets reflected and what really makes it get reflected. For translation, if a graph happens to get translated over the x-axis, it changes its direction. If it is facing upwards, automatically it will face downwards. That's the meaning of the graph being translated over the x-axis. The graph which is here can be reflected. It can be translated over the x-axis by facing downwards. Same applies to that. So these are the number of graphs that we are going to focus much in terms of solving a lot of problems. Let's try to have two more graphs that also belongs to the general graphs of functions that we're going to look at. Of course, we also have two more graphs or other functions. We have a polynomial function and what we call an absolute function. For polynomial function, it will be very difficult for you to translate this one, but it can be reflected. When it happens to get reflected, it will now face in that given direction. If this one happens to get reflected, it is facing that direction. If it happens to get translated, it will face in this given direction. If this one you check properly, you find that it can't also be reflected. It will only be translated over the x-axis. So translation meaning that it will change the direction. If it is facing upwards, it will now face downwards. So need to come and check properly in the next video as to what really makes a graph to be translated over, or it has to be reflected over the y-axis and translated over the x-axis. Let's try to go to the next video where we explain much on how or what really makes these graphs get translated or get reflected over the axis of our specification. Thank you. Try to subscribe and follow as we're going to view or try to watch the same next video we're talking about.